State calls Joyce Butler.
Ms. Butler, could you raise your right hand to be sworn, please?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You may, could you state your name, put your hand down. Could you state your name and spell your last name, please?
Joyce Butler, Butler.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Buxman.
Good afternoon, Ms. Butler.
How you doing?
Not too bad. I heard that you got sick this weekend, so I hope you're feeling a little better.
Yes.
Okay. What do you do for a living now, ma'am?
I don't do nothing.
You retired?
I'm retired.
Okay.
Yes.
Where did you work before you retired?
I work at Florida Hospital.
Okay. What did you do for the hospital when you worked there?
Housekeeping?
Okay. Do you know a man named Joseph Butler?
Yes.
Who is he in relation to you?
That's my husband.
Okay. Let me direct your attention back to May of 2002. Did you live in the Bay Run Apartments located at 3216 Cornell Avenue?
Yes.
And did you guys live in apartment 12 then?
Yes.
Who'd you live there with?
Me and Joe.
Okay. Did you live upstairs or downstairs?
Upstairs.
Did you know a woman named Theresa Green when you lived there?
Yes.
And prior to her death, how long had you known Miss Green?
Oh, I think a long time,
Okay,
but I don't remember.
that's fair. It's been a while. It's okay. Where did she live in relation to your apartment?
She's still on the second floor, across from me.
Okay. I'm going to direct your attention to late Saturday night, May 25th of 2002, into Sunday morning. Was there kind of a get-together at your apartment there?
Yes, but we really didn't have the party.
What about the party? I didn't hear you.
I said we really didn't have it.
Okay. Did people come over to your place that night, though?
Yes, they did.
Okay. And who was there at your apartment that night?
It was me and Joe and one of his friends.
Okay. Was Miss Green there also?
No.
At some point, did Miss Green come to your house for this get-together with a guy named Mike?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember if Miss Green and Mike were dating or together at around that time?
I really don't know.
Okay, that's okay. So, did you have to go to work the next morning early?
Yes.
Okay, and at some point, what happened with the party? Did you kind of shut it down?
Yeah, we shut it down.
All right, tell me what happened when the party was shut down. Did anything happen between your husband, Joe, and Miss Green?
Well, she slapped Joe in the face,
Okay.
and Joe said, why you slapped me in the face like that? I guess she was kind of, drunk.
Okay. And did Joe slap her back?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
He slapped her back.
At some point, did there come a time where somebody fell down the stairs?
Both of them fell down the stairs.
Okay, tell me what happened.
I guess they was drinking, and they both fell down the stairs.
Okay, who fell down?
Theresa and what's that guy name? I don't know the guy's name.
It's a guy with Theresa. Is that Mike?
Yeah, Mike.
Okay, so
They
did they,
both got around the steps.
okay, did you see that happen?
Yes, I did.
All right, what happened when they reached the bottom of the stairs? Was anybody hurt?
No,
Okay. What did you see them do after they reached the bottom of the stairs?
they went back to the apartment,
Whose apartment?
Teresa's apartment.
The one right across from yours.
Yes.
I understand. Did you see Theresa Green again after that day or that evening?
I really don't know.
Okay. Back then, do you remember what kind of vehicle Mike was driving?
I think it was a white car. I'm not sure.
Did he have a van also?
Yeah, he had a van.
Okay, so he had a van. Who had the white car? Whose car was that?
Teresa?
So let me move ahead a few hours. Early Sunday morning.
Uh-huh.
Did you see Mike early the next morning, several hours after the party?
No.
Do you remember, did Mike ever come to your apartment the next morning and ask Joe to help do something?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me what happened.
I guess he asked Joe to follow him to the car.
To follow him?
Yes, they went to they went somewhere.
Okay. And did Joe agree to do that and follow Mike?
Yes.
What vehicle did Joe drive? Do you know?
No.
You don't know whether he drove the van or the white car?
I think he drove the van. I'm not sure.
Okay. Did you ever see Theresa Green with Mike the next morning when Joe followed him in the van?
No. I didn't see her.
At some point, did your husband come back from wherever they went?
Yeah, he
Okay.
came back.
Okay. Do you remember about how long he was gone?
I don't know.
Okay, it's been a while. At some point, did law enforcement or the police come and talk to you and interview you?
Yes.
When the police talked to you the first time, did you tell them anything about Joe following Mike in the car that morning?
Yes.
Okay. Did you tell them that the first time
Because
or the second?
Mike, the first time, Mike came to the door and he opened he came to the door and knocked on the door. He said he wanted to ask Joe something.
Okay.
He wanted to ask Joe to follow him.
And do you remember if you told the police that the first time they talked to you, or was it the second time, or do you remember?
I think it was the second time.
Okay. Do you remember why you didn't tell them about that the first time they talked to you?
No, I really didn't tell him that.
Okay. Do you know why you didn't tell them that?
Nope.
Okay. When the police came to your apartment, did they ask permission to go inside your apartment and look around?
Yes.
Did you let them do that?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. Now, a few days later, did you also talk to a female detective who showed you some pictures of some people?
Yes.
And do you remember being able did you pick out the person that you knew as Mike from those different photographs?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Butler. I don't have any questions, but don't hang up because the defense lawyer has some questions for you probably too, okay?
Okay, no problem.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Mr. Marrero?
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Mrs. Butler. Can you hear me?
Yes, I could hear you.
Can you see me? I'm not sure you can. I can't tell.
No, I can't see you. but
Oh, you
can
can?
see me.
Okay, good. Ms. Butler, did
Yes.
you have the opportunity to read statements that you gave back in the day when this case first happened, back in 2002, that were recorded and then transcribed? Did you ever have the chance to read those?
I don't remember.
And how about a deposition that you gave in 2015? It was kind of long. And did you ever read through that deposition?
Maybe. I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
I don't mean to embarrass you by asking you this question, but if you did have them, could you read them? Can you read?
No, I don't have them.
I'm sorry?
I don't have them.
You don't have them. Okay.
Uh-uh.
All
It's
right.
been a long time.
I'm sorry?
I said, that's been a long time. I don't have it.
Okay. So you're just going on your memory today of what happened 24 years ago, is that right?
Yes. That's a long time.
Yes, ma'am. Can I ask you, what's your memory like? Is your memory still pretty good, or do you sometimes have problems remembering things now that?
Yeah, I have a problem.
Yeah. That's okay. We're all getting older, and it gets harder and harder to remember stuff.
Yes, we do.
Let me just tell you that you did give statements to the police, a couple of different statements. Remember when the prosecutor asked you that the first time that you spoke to the police, you didn't tell them that Joe had gone anywhere with Mr. Hunter. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, the story you told them was that Mr. Hunter had called your house, your apartment, and told Joe that Theresa's car was in Sanford. Do you remember telling the police that?
Yes.
Okay. Now that wasn't true, right?
No.
Okay. And the reason that you didn't tell the police the truth was because you didn't want them to know that Joe had been involved in whatever trouble had happened. Is that right?
Right.
Now, you and Joe were living in an apartment that was owned by Florida Hospital,
Yes.
and they
Yes.
rented to employees of Florida Hospital.
Yes.
And you believed back then that if any of you got in any kind of trouble, the Florida Hospital might, like if somebody called the cops and the cops came over and there was some trouble at your apartment, that you might get thrown out of your apartment, or you might even lose your job. Is that fair?
That's true.
Okay. Now, you had known Theresa for a long time. You liked her?
Yeah, I like to
She was a nice lady.
Teresa was a good person.
Y'all
Yes.
got along all right.
Yes.
So this night that you had this get together at your house, and if you don't mind my asking, how come you don't like to call it a party?
Well, I really don't like, parties, I
Okay.
really don't like,
I'm just saying, if people get together and they're listening to music and drinking, that sounds like a party to me. But,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, you do.
And so some people were drinking. And Judge, I would, if, Your Honor, if you don't mind, I would just ask that the other witness be asked to leave the room while she's testifying. I'm sorry. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Moore, if you're in the room, we need you to leave. Thank you.
Thank you. So, on the night that this get-together happened at your apartment, Miss Green was drinking, right?
Yeah.
She was drinking quite a bit?
A lot.
A lot. Now, you were not drinking, right?
Oh, no, I don't drink.
You don't drink, period. Okay.
No.
But Joe did back then, right?
Yes.
And do you remember him drinking quite a bit that evening as well?
Yeah, he was drinking.
And Mike, Teresa's boyfriend, he wasn't drinking. Is that right?
I guess he was drinking. I'm not sure.
You're not sure? Okay, that's
No.
fine. Now, you went to bed pretty early that night because you had to work the next day, correct?
Yes.
And
Yes.
and
That was on a Sunday.
was on a Sunday. So like
Yeah.
Sunday after midnight?
No, in the morning. I had to go to work in the morning time.
Yeah, okay, so, all right, I understand you now. What you're saying is that Sunday morning you had to go to work. So
Yes.
Saturday night into Sunday morning is when everybody was over your place. Is that right?
Yes.
Now, while everybody was over, and just to be sure I got this right, it was you were there, Joe was there, Mike was there, and Theresa was there. Is that right?
Yes.
Do you remember your daughter Lisa being there? Don't
I don't remember.
you don't remember if she was there or not? Okay. Do you remember? And I'm asking these questions based on testimony that you've given in the past.
Yeah.
Coming out at some point because the music's playing and people are talking kind of loud because people are getting drunk. Coming out there to ask them to turn the music down because you can't sleep.
Yes.
Yes. Do you remember if you did that more than once?
A couple of times.
A couple times. Do you remember?
Yeah, I had to
that-
go to work the next morning.
I'm sorry, because you had to work the next morning. Sure, it's hard to sleep
That's
with
right.
music and loud voices in the room right next door to your bedroom, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, do you remember Joe getting angry about your telling him to turn the music down and stop talking so loud?
Yeah.
And
I did. I told him to turn
I'm
the
sorry.
music down. I was trying to go to sleep.
Right, and he got angry about that.
Yes,
Joe
he
did?
did.
Do you remember him slamming the door in your bedroom?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Okay. Now, at some point, Joe did turn the music down, right?
Yes, he did.
And told everybody that they had to go, right?
Yes. He told
Now-
me they had to leave.
When this happened, you're not in bed, right?
No, I was still up.
You're up. You're in the living room.
Yes.
Now, if I told you that this probably happened around 2:30 in the morning, would that sound about right?
Right.
So it's pretty late. And you had to be at work very early the next morning?
Yes, at 7:00.
And so you were in the living room when you saw Joe tell everybody that they had to leave,
Yeah, I told him.
and you were in
I
the
told
living
him,
room
yeah,
when
he told
Teresa.
me, I told him, go home.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? Because I was not able to hear it.
Joe told them they had to go home.
Okay. Was he kind of angry when he was saying that?
No,
No? Now, you were in the living room when you saw Theresa walk up to Joe and slap him in the face.
yeah. And Joe said, why you slap me in the face?
Right, sure. And then
Yeah.
and now and you saw Joe slap her back, right?
Yes,
Now, you told Detective Bergen, who's one of the detectives that you spoke to, a woman with short hair, that when Joe smacked her, slapped Theresa, that she got a bloody nose from that. You remember telling her that?
yeah,
And that was true, right?
yes,
And then the two of them kind of started to get into it after that, right?
yes,
Theresa was pretty angry and pretty drunk, right?
yes. And
Yeah.
then, wait a minute. And then her boyfriend,
Right.
the boyfriend say, why you let Joe snap me in the face?
You mean she said to her boyfriend, "Why do you let Joe smack me in the face?" Is that
That's
right?
right.
And that boyfriend was Mike?
Right? Mike, that's right.
Okay. So at some point, they're out in the hallway, that little hallway in between the two doors in your apartment.
Uh-huh.
And you told the prosecutor that you saw both Mike and Theresa fall down the stairs. Is that right?
Yes, they did.
And
Yes.
now when you were asked the question, you testified that they must have both been drunk, and that's what caused them to fall down the stairs. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
They was drinking.
All right. And they fell all the way down to the bottom of the stairs?
Yes, all the way down.
And were they tumbling as they were coming down the stairs?
Yes, it was.
Kind of one on top of the other, kind of?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth. You were standing there and you saw them fall all the way down the stairs. Is that right?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Yes.
And then did you see them get up, or did you just close the door at that point?
They got up.
Okay. And they walked
They
back.
got up and they went upstairs.
They walked back up upstairs. Okay.
Yes.
Now,
They shut the door.
when they came back up the stairs, was that the end of it for you? Did you go back into your room and into your apartment and close the door? Or
Yes, I did.
do you remember Lisa showing up at some point? Your daughter?
Yeah.
When did she come?
Yes,
After
sure.
after the fall or before the fall?
Yes.
After the fall?
After the fall. Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever tell Lisa that Joe was threatening you or that he hit you?
No.
Were you scared of Joe doing anything like that?
No.
So, you know that Lisa got a hold of your other son, and he came over. And I'm sorry, I've forgotten his name. Starts with an R.
Raymond.
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 Raymond. And she called Raymond, and Raymond came over that night.
I guess so.
You don't remember? If you don't remember, just say, I don't remember.
I don't remember that.
Okay. But you didn't tell Lisa to call Raymond, did you?
Nope.
And if Raymond did come over, it would have been after the fall, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning?
I don't remember.
Don't remember. Do you remember, you don't remember talking to Raymond at any point that night? No.
No.
So the second time that you talked to the detective, after she had spoken with your husband, Joe, you told the detective that Mike came over your apartment and that he got Joe up out of bed and told him that he needed to follow him in the car. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. And did
That was
you,
it.
you did,
That was in the morning time.
that was in the morning, and you didn't ask
Right.
Joe where he was going.
Nope.
Now, he told you that Mike had said, or maybe you even heard Mike say, I need you to follow me and Theresa to in the van.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when Joe left, they were gone for a little bit, right?
Yes.
And he came back maybe an hour later.
Yes.
When he came back, he told you, I mean, you asked him, what was that all about? Where'd you guys go? What were you doing?
Nope.
You didn't ask him?
Uh-uh.
Did he, but at some point he told you that Mike told him, I messed up.
Yes.
And did Joe ever tell you that he was afraid that something might have happened to Theresa?
Yes.
And
And wait a minute.
I'm
And
sorry?
the thing back,
I'm sorry?
he said, I told him, I said, I don't want to hear that. What happened?
You told him that you didn't want to hear
I don't want to hear that.
that something might have happened to Theresa. You didn't want to hear that.
Yes. Yes.
And did the two of you kind of agree that you weren't going to call the police?
Nope.
You decided on your own that you weren't going to call the police.
Right.
I mean, you didn't call the police, right?
But the police came anyway.
Oh, yes, they did.
They came anyway.
But what I'm saying is they came because Octavius Hayes called them on Monday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
They didn't come because you called them.
No. I ain't called them.
Is that because you were afraid that if the police showed up, that they might think that your husband was involved in something?
Not really.
No? You just didn't care to call the police.
Right. But they came anyway.
Oh, I know.
And really, that's a long time, you know.
I'm sorry?
That's really a long time. I said, that's a long time.
Ago.
Remember stuff like that.
It is. But you remember today that you didn't call the police on Sunday, and you didn't call the police on Monday. You spoke to the police when somebody else called them, and they came to your place and asked you if you knew anything, right?
Yes. Yes.
You remember a young boy by the name of Tate?
Hey,
Octavius Hayes? Does the name sound familiar?
I don't know.
Do you remember Theresa Green having a little boy
Yeah.
who lived with her?
His son.
Her son, right?
Yes.
Do you remember? You don't remember his name?
No, I don't know. I don't know his name.
Okay. Now on Monday, he says, on Monday he came by your apartment and asked you and Joe if you had seen his mom, right?
Yes.
You remember that?
He sure did.
He sure did. Because his mom's door was unlocked and he hadn't heard from her and didn't know where she was.
Right.
Now,
That's true now.
He was a young man at that time, right? About 13?
Yeah. Yeah, 13.
And when he asked you and Joe have you seen my mom? Both of you said, no, we ain't seen her, right?
No, we didn't see it.
We didn't, what? Do you remember telling that young man that, no, you hadn't seen his mom and didn't have any idea where she was?
Yes, because, he was looking for his mom.
Yeah, he was.
And I told her, I said, I didn't see her.
You didn't say to him, well, she was over our place Saturday night and she fell downstairs and any of that? You didn't tell him any of that, right?
No. Mm-mm.
When you gave a deposition, that's when you were interviewed by some lawyers, not us. You and I have never met before, but you were interviewed by some lawyers about what had happened. That was in 2015. That was over 10 years ago now. Do you remember that?
Yes.
I know you told us that you haven't had the opportunity to read what you said, but the lawyer there asked you if over the 16 years that had gone by since Theresa Green went missing, if you and Joe ever talked about it, ever talked about what happened on that Sunday, and that he told you, I don't know nothing about that, right?
I guess so. I don't know.
And your response was, I don't either.
I don't remember that.
Well, I mean, as you sit here today, you and Joe, as the years have gone by, it's been a lot longer now. As the years have gone by, you and him have never talked about what happened that Sunday morning. And how Theresa went missing.
No.